The person everyone calls the therapist friend is usually the one who needs therapy most. You're the calm one. The one who holds space, gives advice, stays steady when everything falls apart. And somewhere along the way, you mistook that for a personality trait. By the end of this, you'll understand the real machinery behind that role, and why stepping out of it might be the bravest thing you ever do. When you were young, something shifted in your household. Maybe a parent drank. Maybe a parent was depressed, or volatile, or just absent in a way no one talked about. The details vary. The outcome is the same. You, as a child, started managing emotions that were never yours to carry. Psychiatrist Ivan Bogermeny-Nagy gave this a clinical name: parentification, a role reversal where the child becomes the emotional regulator for the adults in the room. Family therapist Salvador Minuchin built on this in 1967, mapping how entire family systems reorganize around a child who's been quietly promoted to a job they never applied for. And here's what makes it so hard to spot. Everyone praised you for it. So mature for your age. The responsible one. Old soul. Those words felt like love. They were descriptions of a childhood that got cut short. Your developing brain was learning a lesson. It would carry for decades. Safety is conditional. Your nervous system, still forming, was mapping the world in real time. Dr. Stephen Porges calls this neuroception, your body's unconscious radar for threat and safety. In a stable home, that radar calibrates normally. In yours, it learned something specific. When you're helping, you're safe. When you're not helping, you're about to be left. That radar is still running. Right now, every time a friend calls upset and your whole body mobilizes before you've even decided to answer, that's the radar. Every time you walk into a room and immediately scan for who's struggling, who needs something, who's off, that's hypervigilance wearing the mask of empathy. Therapist Pete Walker identified something most trauma models missed. Beyond fight, flight, and freeze, there's a fourth response: fawn. The fawn response develops when a child discovers that being useful purchases a small amount of safety. Walker's language is precise. The child learns that servile behaviors can prevent emotional danger. Assertiveness gets extinguished because assertiveness got punished. What replaces it looks generous, warm, selfless. Under the surface, it's a survival strategy running on outdated code. Think about your friendships right now. How many of them would survive if you stopped being the one who checks in, who remembers, who holds it together? That question probably made your chest tighten. The tightness is the answer. Research on parentification and adult attachment found something that cuts deep. Parentified adults show lower authenticity in romantic relationships and higher levels of what researchers call pathological concern. They compulsively caretake. They feel they know what's best for others, and they feel profoundly unsafe without a caregiving role to occupy. Their sense of self is welded to the function. Remove the function, and there's a terrifying vacuum where an identity should be. Dr. Jonas Webb, who studies childhood emotional neglect, describes the pipeline clearly. Parentified kids learn to ignore their own emotions so they can attend to everyone else's. In adulthood, the pattern just changes targets, from parents to partners to friends. Self-care stays at the bottom of the list. Always. You've probably noticed something. You can read a room with surgical precision. You know when someone's faking a smile from across a restaurant. You catch the micro shift in a friend's tone that means they're hurt but won't say it. You are extraordinarily fluent in other people's emotions. And you might struggle to name 3 of your own from the past week. That gap is the wound. You learned the language of everyone else's inner world because your survival depended on it. Your own inner world got filed under not urgent, then not important, then not there. The burnout trajectory is predictable. You give compulsively until you're hollow. Then comes the resentment, which immediately triggers guilt, because resentment means you're failing at the only role that makes you feel real. So you push harder, give more, smile wider, until your body intervenes with exhaustion, anxiety, depression, or all three at once. And the loneliest part? You are hyper visible as a helper and invisible as a person. Everyone sees the therapist friend, the human underneath, the one who's tired, who's scared, who desperately wants someone to ask, "How are you?" and actually wait for the honest answer. That person has been in hiding since childhood. There's a specific grief here that doesn't get enough attention. Pete Walker writes about it in his recovery framework. Healing from fawn trauma requires grieving the loss of healthy, self-protective development. You're grieving something that never happened. The childhood where you got to be small and messy and confused and cared for. The one where your feelings mattered as much as everyone else's. Webb notes that parentified adults often feel a sharp ache watching carefree childhoods in others, knowing that door closed a long time ago. But grieving it is how you open a different door. Recovery has layers. Cognitive work means naming the pattern out loud, separating who you are from what you do for people. Somatic therapy addresses what talk therapy can't reach, because this pattern lives in your nervous system, in the way your shoulders climb toward your ears when someone near you is upset. Your body needs to learn, slowly and repeatedly, that rest is safe, that existing without a function is safe, that you can sit in a room with someone you love and offer them absolutely nothing and still be wanted. The milestone that matters most in this process: receiving care without panic, letting someone take care of you, and staying in your body instead of deflecting, minimizing, or immediately turning the focus back to them. That moment where you let yourself be held instead of holding will feel wrong. Your nervous system will scream that something dangerous is happening. The danger it's detecting is intimacy without transaction. Love you didn't earn. The thing you've wanted your entire life will feel, at first, like a threat. Stay anyway. Healing here isn't about killing your empathy or abandoning the people you love. You get to keep every skill you built: the reading of rooms, the steadiness, the depth. What changes is the engine underneath. Helping because you genuinely want to feels completely different from helping because your body believes you'll disappear if you stop. You learned very young that love is a paycheck. You clock in, you perform, you earn your hours. The people who stay in your life after you stop performing, after you show up empty-handed, imperfect, needing something for once, those are the people who were actually there for you. You just couldn't see them through the fog of function. Your value was never in the advice you gave. It was never in the crisis you managed or the friend you talked off the ledge at 2 a.m. You were worth loving before you were useful. You were worth loving when you were 5 and confused, and someone should have knelt down and said, "You don't have to fix this. That's my job." Someone should have said it then. You can say it to yourself now.